Hi, Flash.
How are you, Drew?
I'm fine. We haven't seen each other in like a year.
Yeah, like maybe
Do you remember where it was?
Bernhardt.
Burning Heart.
Was that you?
Over a year.
Maybe over a
And
year.
then do you remember the last time
I was
saw
injured,
you?
wasn't I? Yeah. Supposed to be on that show. Was it supposed to be on that show? Yeah, it
Did
was.
you not wrestle?
No, I was supposed
You
to
were
be on
with
that show.
the Wild Boar.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wild Boar.
I think he'll be back. I hope he listens to this. I think he'll be back.
Wild Boar has turned into Crackling Boar right now. Yeah, I think then before that.
I think that was it. I think I was literally it before lockdown, before COVID, before you.
So I came back once in 2022,
Didn't
but
see
that
it.
was strictly, I did a TNT show, a Progress show, and then like.
And I think I messaged you to ask if you were around. We were going to see if we could do a meetup or something. And you were like, I have to leave.
Maybe. Yeah, I remember it being really strict times. Then before that was Christmas 2019, Mistletoe
Bloody hell.
at Catay's. Don't know if you were at that.
Was
2019.
Was it that? Who did you wrestle?
I can't remember. It was a scramble, and I remember Curtis, but obviously now I remember Curtis being in it. I don't know who else was in it though, but it was like some 6-man.
I was there.
I was a surprise.
I was there, but I think I might have maybe only went for the Christmas dinner, maybe.
Yeah. That's how I know we're getting older now. It's like, oh, you don't have to book me.
I just come for the bands. I come for the hangouts.
That's the one thing I do miss is the mistletoe meal. The mistletoe meals should go down in infamy.
They're still happening, but they're not the same level.
They're not because I'm not there.
Yeah.
Flash.
I'm not there this year either, to be fair.
I don't even know if it's still a thing. Does Mandries even go anymore? He's too big time for that now.
He organises it.
Does he? He doesn't pay for a dime, though, does he? I bet he doesn't pay for it.
Definitely doesn't pay for it.
You were in Attack from day one? Question mark.
I was on those first shows, the ones that were in the Birmingham area before it moved officially to Cardiff. So we had ones that were in Smiths Wood, Chelmsley Wood.
Was that where Pete wrestled Zach?
Yes, and Hitch also wrestled Zach.
Yeah,
Zach was on those shows. Yeah, here's a good one. Smiths Wood. We did a show, and we heard that there was police down the road.
Yeah,
and we were like, "Fucking hell, it must have been kicking off or whatever." We found out later that somebody had their hand chopped off with machete.
Where's Smiths Wood?
Where Pete's from?
With
checks, yeah.
He told the story of like he got robbed or held at knife point or something.
He got gassed for his phone on the way to meet me in Birmingham New Street. And then his brother then tracked the person who was selling it on BB, and they organised to meet up, and then his brother beat the shit out of him and took the phone back.
Oh my god. Humble beginnings for Attack Pro.
And if you met his brother, Steve.
No, but I've seen him.
Most unassuming bloke, really nice, really calm, really
I thought
chill.
he was like Wham. Is he not massive?
Oh yeah, but I mean like unassuming in the sense
just
of like,
a lovely boy.
Yeah, like he's strong, like he's a good businessman, works hard, graft.
Yeah.
Like, hey Steve, he's like, hey, how's it going? Just doesn't.
Those are the
very
ones
much like Pete, really.
Yeah,
Pete's very like that.
I wouldn't fuck with Pete either.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, either of them.
How long were attacking that area for? Before Catay's, what was the?
I think
because you would have been going to Catay's anyway, right? On the mats.
No. So the way we ran in different circles. So like Mark and all them lot were doing Fest, and me and Hitch and Brandon were in NW in Wales. So we were doing all the yarding. Technically, Fest wasn't yarding. Fest was like all the pro kids who want to do their own bit of wrestling. They would do that, and I think they didn't want to mix with us because we hadn't started going pro yet. So they were a bit afraid that it would become like a backyard thing.
Isn't that funny in retrospect? Like,
yeah.
Who did we all think we were?
Yeah, I don't even think it was that. I think it was more the fear because of how the trainers and everybody used to look at backyard wrestling.
Yeah, which now just does not exist. Not only does backyard wrestling barely exist now, but it's like there is no stigma because Will Ospreay is on TV. And Pac, people forget about that.
That's the thing though. Like I think like Will's very open about it. We're very open about it. But like Pac was the OG. Yeah. I met Pac in that's my dog Brody, by the way.
They might not be. It's got noise cancellation.
Oh, that's pretty good.
They might not be able to pick up little Brody.
My dog Brody is crying because he loves Drew Parker. Wants to come in the room so bad. But I met Pac at an event in Newcastle in like a backyard wrestling event. I want to say 2008, 9, just before I started going pro. And I've never had a conversation with him since then. We've never bumped into each other on a show.
Not even at like bowl. I guess when you were doing PWG and stuff, he was already
WWE. And then when he was WWE, I think he was in that situation where he was like under contract, wasn't going there. He was at Wembley recently at AEW, and I had a conversation with both his partner and his girlfriend, wife. I know his partner. I don't know what she is, and his mother. And I mentioned to his mum that I knew some of the Yardas, and she knew all the people I was talking about.
Insane.
So I've spoke to them longer than I've ever spoke to Pac.
I've only met him once. I met him at a TNT show in Liverpool right before I left. And I remember like plucking up the courage to go up to him and go, because he'd been to Japan. This is like just after WWE, like right after. I remember plucking up the courage. It's like, oh, I'm going soon. Like, any advice, like X, Y, Z. I remember, fuck knows what he told me. But afterwards, he was like, oh yeah, just like stay in contact with me. But then gave me no way of staying in contact with him. I was like, I can read the room. I can read the room. Like, the man who doesn't use Twitter or Instagram or have any way of contacting him, just please contact me. It's like, all right, okay,
cool,
sure.
we'll do.
How was it that I don't even know Wales geography when it comes to the south. So how come Matt Andrews and then you were in like separate groups?
It was obviously
whereabouts are you from again?
I'm from the valley, so I'm from a town called Bramall. So if you were to get in a car and drive, it'd probably take you like 45 minutes to an hour to get to where Mark is. But you got to remember, this is like 2007, 2006, 2007. There was no train link between those places. So if if none of us drove, because obviously we were like 15, 16.
Yeah.
If I wanted to get to Cardiff, me and Hitch, we would have to get on a 2-hour coach journey. So that was it was not happening, never happening. But we went to Newport and we started training there and we met Mark. And I remember Mark saying that he thought he was like pretty good and he was like one of the top. And then we showed up Yardas and we were just doing all this mad backflips and stuff like that. And Mark being like, who are these kids?
I bet he was fuming.
I think he was. He says no, he was. But then on top of it, then it was like, then he'd start getting like put together with us to do stuff. And he'd be like, oh my God, these guys are cool. Like, you get it. But then I think that we stopped and then him and Pete met. And Pete even tells a story about how he used to be on the Backyard Wrestling forum that we were on, watching videos. And he would always check in with like Mark and be like, oh, are they training? Are they come back training? And then when we started coming back training again, he was like, are they serious about it? They're going to do it? And then once we got to the point where we were ready for shows and we started doing shows, Pete was like, got to bring the Yardas up then. That was it.
Was this forum MV Zone? Was MV Zone not classified as a forum?
Yeah, it was a forum. There was an MV Zone in it.
Were you editing? I know certain, Mark was obviously always
Hitch was the editor, really.
Yeah.
So like,
which is a hilarious image, by the way, of just him in his singlet behind
with his short hair with no beard,
a fat Windows PC, just like smashing the thing.
It was a Packard Bell PC. I remember that. Yeah.
MV Zone. So, did you meet Ricky through that, like contact wise?
So we knew of Ricky.
Christian Faith.
Yeah, we knew. Faith in Nothing. Yeah,
I was familiar with Christian.
We knew of Ricky, and we knew Ricky Crash on the Backyard forums. We knew who he was. But so when the boys went out to America and they said, "Oh, we've met Ricky Crash," and all this other stuff, I was like, "Oh my God, you've met him!" So when he came over, it was like, I can remember when he came over, I was just like, "I want him to like me so much."
Yeah.
And again, Ricky's keeps his cards close to his chest.
He does. But then once you're in.
Yeah, once you're in, yeah. I think recently we were in Canada and he was like, "Love you, bro." And I was a bit like, "Oh my God." Because I knew I love
texting
Ricky.
Texting Hitch.
Ricky said, "Love you." He's like, "Oh, yeah." He said that first day I met him.
How many years of yarding was it before Attack formed then? These two separate groups, the WCW and the WWF of the Welsh backyard wrestling scene.
I think I think we came in, like, Hitchman started doing pro shows in about 2009 and then I think even 2008, and then I think I joined 2000. I think I went pro in 2009, and then I did one or two shows that we'd all kind of mingled in. I did one or two shows in that build up from December to September, and like Pete come down, we met Pete, and Pete got some shows, and then in September I left and moved to Midlands. So I was only ever a part fully of the Welsh wrestling scene for like 9 months.
Isn't that so weird? Because you are linked to it.
Yeah.
Like when I think of, maybe showing my age now of all the younger generations, the generation now, you think Danny Jones, Brendan, like Danny, like to a certain extent, even though she's not Welsh.
Yeah, of course.
Then it really was, especially me and Lycos, looking at all the Attack MVs, like all this sort of stuff. It was like you, Hitch, Mandrews, even Pete to some weird extent, because even though he wasn't even based in South Wales, he was always on like Attack, Dragon Pro. Like that's what I'm thinking.
And he was doing Birdie as well. He was doing the Welsh wrestling shows as well.
Welsh wrestling.
He was coming down and doing stuff. Like, he was so young. He was just in the summer, especially. He was just going down and hanging out with Mark for like 6 weeks.
And he'd only just started high school.
Yeah,
he was 10 years old.
I always tell these stories about like this 14-year-old walking around the locker room telling people they were doing wrong in their matches. Now they should get better.
Hey,
Somehow navigated like
in retrospect, though,
he was right.
He was probably bang on.
He was a prodigy.
Did you, when Attack started rolling and all the MVs are coming out, did you like all know like, oh, this is actually the sickest shit ever, or not? Because from the outside looking in as teenagers, we thought, oh, this is the greatest wrestling that like the UK has. Because I think if it was 2012 when Progress started, right? So Attack was still like what, 2010, 11.
Yeah, 2011 is it? Yeah.
Even with like Progress in its like initial years, which was looked at as like the punk rock pro wrestling, me and Lycos were looking at that as like, no, Attack is like the real underground, because it's like it's just Chikara and Ring of Honor like mixed into one when it was that cool, like when it was the peak of the peak. Whereas Progress was kind of just like, I don't know, it was too big in a way,
Yeah,
and it felt inaccessible.
Yeah.
Whereas you guys, because you were all doing like seminars in Birmingham or in Coventry or like South Wales in Cardiff that like me could go to, dropped his name, sorry guys, that felt way more accessible. Do you know what I mean? It's like, did you know it was this really cool thing, or was it just like, oh, we're going to put on a wrestling show with my mates and there'll be a cool MV about it, like who cares if anyone sees it?
I think for us it's a case of nobody was really doing the wrestling that we wanted to do. So I think that we were in the Midlands, we were in Wales, and it was all these family shows. The ones that did well were family shows. And 2 seconds, Brody, shh, come on, calm down. Fine,
bless him.
Sorry. So yeah, we were in. I'm gonna close that. I'm gonna close that.
No, Brody.
I'm gonna close that. I'm sorry, mate. Because I think he's going to start barking.
Flash Morgan Webster, real life heel, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry, he's going to start barking. I'm sorry, mate.
Oh, some boy.
Yeah, sorry. So, nowhere was actually doing the wrestling that we wanted to do. So we were wrestling at these small social clubs, and it was very family friendly, and we just wanted to try to build a scene. That's what we wanted to do. And I think we were just like, oh, what if we did these shows that was like American pro wrestling mixed with, like American indie wrestling mixed with British wrestling. That's what we thought about. And we have cool MVs like PWG. Everyone watched PWG. Yeah. Like that's what we wanted. And we, as you said, MV Zone. We were brought up on the MV Zone, on the backyard wrestling mentality of you edit your own MVs, you put the highlights in, it makes it look sick. But for us, I think it was just us having fun while doing that. Like, are you an Office fan? Office US?
Yes.
When he says, wouldn't it be great to know that you're in the good times?
Good old days, yeah.
When you're in there. And I think, I look back on it now and I'm like, you don't realize that at the time because you're all trying to get the next book in, trying to get the next book in, trying to get the next book in, trying to get the next one. And I remember thinking at one point, like, one of my goals one year was I need to try to do 3 of the, in my eyes, the top 5 in the UK. And the top 5 at the time.
What year is this roundabout? 12, 11,
maybe 13. I think maybe 2013.
So Attack is now rolling.
Yeah, it's rolling. But one of my aims was like, right, I need to do 3. I thought I want to do 3 of the top 5 this year. That was my aim. And the top 5 in my eyes at the time was ICW.
Yeah.
Southside.
Mm-hmm. I think I can name them all.
Go for it.
PCW.
PCW's next one. Yeah.
So Progress would have been about then, but would you have?
Yeah, I would have considered that.
5. Was Fight Club wasn't moving like that?
No, it wasn't.
No.
So Progress with that. We've got one more.
Is it English?
It is English.
South. Rev.
It is Rev Pro. Right? Yeah, it's Rev Pro. They had just done like they've just done some York Hall shows and stuff like that.
Which at that time, unfathomable.
Yeah. So it was like remember that they'd done the one that had like David on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? So that was like that was even 2013, 2014. And I remember that being it, and I was going like, right, I want to do at least 3 of them, and I managed to like tick it off really quite soon. But I only got those opportunities because of Attack, because of people watching us and people doing stuff, and then just having connections. And everyone thinks about this, like, I don't think that people understand this or know this. I only go on Progress because I had a booking down in, I want to say, it was down the south somewhere. I want to say it was maybe Southampton or something, and I had to go through London for this train, and the show got cancelled. So I had this train ticket that I only paid for and it got cancelled. I can't remember. It was a promotion that never really ran afterwards. And I messaged Eddie and went, I've got this train ticket. Can I come down and train with you at the Progress School?
Yeah, yeah.
And he was like, yep. So I went down and trained at the Progress School. And I can say now, I went there with the intention of getting booked.
Yeah.
I didn't mention it to John Briley. I just showed
No,
up.
no,
I just
no.
worked hard.
Do the
just
pleasantries.
Yeah,
and-
just stuff.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
pretend I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
Did the stuff. Went for food afterwards. All that stuff. And then he booked me on Progress literally afterwards. But that was it. And I remember I only got booked Southside because I did the Progress show and Ben Hall was in the audience and saw it, and I got Southside off that. So it was just one thing that trickled on to the next. But when you talk about Attack, and you talk about us knowing we were in that, we were doing the coolest stuff, I don't know if I realized we were in that until Chris Travis asked to be on one of the shows.
I think I've heard someone, either Mandrews or Brooks, talk about this.
Yeah,
like that was a moment.
He wanted to be on the shows, and because we were looking at PCW, and he was like, it was the coolest.
Because
shit ever.
as well, for people who don't really, it's really important context that back then, Southside, PCW, and then Progress was on the come up at that like early 2010s. They were huge deals.
Wrestling in London
were insane.
Didn't exist.
Yeah, it was not like the hotbed
No.
that it is now.
No.
It was that weird like north kind of Midlands. Whereabouts was Southside? Because Kamikaze was running, and they were like
they were on the up as well. Yeah. No,
that Midlands to northwest area was like the place to be.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really important that like Chris Travis, who was on all of those shows, wanting to be on Attack, doesn't surprise me that was a moment.
Yeah, imagine this, like we're these kids who been brought up on Ring of Honor, on PWG, like watching all these shows, and then we're watching Steen be at PCW.
Yes.
Or like Pac wrestling Chris Travis and Southside.
Zack Sabre at this point, who coming back from nowhere.
Exactly, right. Davey Richards and all these other people. And you're like, my God, like all the people we want to wrestle in these promotions, sure. So then when we hear like a Chris Travis go, like, you guys look like you're doing the best shows ever, can we come down? It was like, oh my God.
For us.
Yeah. Yeah. Wild.
Well, PCW want to run down here?
Yeah, it was just wild. Because even I'll speak like this, I'm friends with Mastiff now, but I feel like there was definitely a balance of Mastiff being the old guard and him looking down on maybe us as a group. And I remember us getting him to come and do the show. And I still think he didn't kind of understand it or do it. But then, like, I think once he got there, he was still up for doing loads of stuff. Like I remember on the match with him, and he was
Attack.
Yeah, me and him, we did a nerd versus school bully one, and he was super up for it. We did backflip catch into fireman's carry into rolling thing. He did the cannonball. I did the pinball wizard just onto him on the outside, which was you were definitely under 25 years old. Yeah. I can tell you the last person I did one pinball wizard onto, and that was Zach Gibson in the Natural Progression final. Never again.
So you saying like you got that one booking, that wasn't the Natural Progression series?
No, it wasn't. It was Endeavour against William Eva.
Did you win yours, or did Zach Gibson win?
So I won, but I wasn't supposed to win.
Was it you and Zach finals?
It was.
What's the story there then?
So,
I have a hazy memory of it. I thought you won.
I don't even believe if I was supposed to go to the final. I think it was a case of so I wrestled William Eva, and I feel this is another thing why I pushed at all these new students coming in. I'm like, please go and work the bad shows. Please go and work people that are not good at wrestling, because you will learn loads when you wrestle good people, and it'll blow your mind. I remember when Pete wrestled Davey Richards, and he kind of like, oh my God, it blew Pete's mind, and it helped him in the direction. So you need those good reps. But you get good at wrestling from figuring out how to have good matches with people who aren't ready to have good matches. That's how you have good matches. And then figuring out how to have great matches with people who aren't ready, right?
Yeah.
I say this all the time. I had a match once with somebody, and it wasn't very good, and I thought this person wasn't very good. And a week later, I saw Pete go and have this match with the same person. It was incredible. And I went, oh, I'm shit. That's the issue. So when I wrestled William Eva, I think he was like 3 matches in.
Yeah.
And we did loads, but I figured out all these little tricks and tips on how to communicate to a new wrestler and keep everything on track, so there's no distance between us. So I had this good match with William Eva, and then I get told, oh, you're going to wrestle Bodum in the first round. And Bodum, for all we know, absolute piece of shit human being outside of the ring, and we can say that he is. But me and him had great
and he was actually a piece of shit in the ring too.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So the thing, but me and him always had great chemistry. And I think, again, you wrestle Pete. Pete always likes to be a bit of a bully in the ring, and he wants you to fight back. So when Bowden tries to do that shit with me, I'm all for it, because I've had Pete doing it for years. Yeah. Birdie's the same with it as well. Yes. So I was ready for it. Hitch does it with me as well. So there's
a common thing.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. I think I get the shit kicked into me, and I fight back. So when Bowden tries that shit, it works. So I had this match with Bodum. It went down very well, and then I want to say that I was booked then against Pete in the ballroom. Second time they were in the ballroom, so I was in the garage the first time. Second time then was in the ballroom, and I want to say that I wasn't given any other dates after that in the build up to it. So maybe they were going to do Pete in the final.
Yeah,
and then I think he had the match with Robbie. And the one where the crowd hijacked the match and they were singing, he's got a red face on his face.
Yeah, I remember
which is
that.
awful because it just, Robbie is, we all know now Robbie is one of the most gifted wrestlers I've ever seen. And he should have had a quicker rise.
I remember every backstage I went to around that time just fuming.
Yeah.
Just like so angry and like pissed off with like the people for doing that.
Because he just cut the legs from underneath him.
Also, deceptively young Robbie X. He would have been like 19 or 20
I
then.
Younger.
Even younger. Because he's only a couple of years older than me, maybe 1 year older than me. So he probably was a teenager, and they're shouting at this teenage boy who's putting on a performance of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, it's really horrible.
Yeah. And I think maybe that derailed the match to a point where they maybe didn't get the best out of Pete.
Yeah.
So when then I got given the last booking then against Gibson, so okay. And then me and Pete obviously get in the ballroom and we wrestled each other a million times. So it was just easy. We just had an absolute stormer, which we got backstage. We got told by Briley, go out there and do everything, kill it. So we did that, and then we got backstage, and there's a lot of people over the main event of that show were very angry that
did you kill it too hard?
Oh, apparently so.
Killed it dead.
Tombstone kick out everything. They were
suffering from success.
They were raging. I remember people being angry with us, and then people arguing back with them, saying, "Well, you can't be told to go out there and do everything, and then be angry when they do everything." So that happened, and then me and Gibson, and I was told I wasn't winning that. And I was like, "Okay, that's fine, no issue." And then Gibson got given a tour in China, which meant he was not.
Was this the tour with CJ Banks and Pete?
No, he did one before. It's one we went on his own.
Oh, okay.
So he was on a tour China, and I think he was having WWE tryouts at the time, and I think Regal said to him, like, go out and make a name for yourself and try to be bigger. So we thought, well, nobody's in China. Like, that's a good get. So he went and did that. And it meant then that he was missing maybe like 5 to 6 months after that national progression win. And they just went, well, we can't have you win this big tournament and not be there. So they put it on me. And that's why we had the little switch then. When they saw that the finish had a little bit of ropiness to it, the one shoulders up, we did the rematch then where it ended up Gibson taking it back off me. And then we did the triple threat with Will for the cash in.
Yeah, I remember it was some real lame shit like that. Just let you win it clean.
Yeah.
So progress.
Well, I think it was an accident. Well, he got rolled up and the shoulder was out, but then it's like they could have just kept going. But I think that kind of derailed them a little bit because then they had Jimmy as the heel, and
so was he still heel? Wait,
before
Will took it.
Yeah, he was still a heel, and I think then in the case it was like you had this another babyface who at the time was pretty over walking on with his cash in, but they obviously if they give it to Gibson, it wouldn't have been everyone wouldn't want to see Gibson cash in. No. So it kind of like. It didn't hurt me because I won national progression. It was a great moment. But then I think it did start the downfall a little bit of my run at Progress because then you had this babyface who could end the suffering of the promotion.
Yeah,
and that wasn't their plan.
We could talk. We could have a separate podcast about Progress booking.
Any booking, though, really.
Yeah, especially from that time period. I remember some of it being so infuriating, like stuff like that. So is this what year were you natural progression?
2015, 16.
So is that like
15?
Is that right before the Cruiserweight Classic?
15. 16 is when the Cruiserweight Classic happens.
Because in my
head, I'm good with these dates. Yeah. Because they obviously become.
They mean so much to me.
For bad reasons. Yeah.
Well, this next one definitely
2016 becomes the year.
So was this
my life?
My head before we had this conversation, I would have assumed you win MPS within 6 months. It feels like the Cruiserweight Classic.
No, it's not. I win MPS April 2015.
Do you return to Fight Club in that space of time? Because I remember you were at Fight Club Early House, then you weren't for ages, and then didn't you have like a comeback after a while?
I would always just show up to do
random
stuff at Fight Club, and they would obviously expect one. It was always Brooks. Brooks just turned to Marty and be like, "You've got to put him in."
Yeah.
And then I'd come out and always get a great reaction. And then I think they'd be shocked, and they'd just never book me again afterwards.
Then they'd forget.
But I would live 45 minutes down the road.
They would book the next super fight. Yeah, I remember that being a thing as well. I was like, I live down the fucking road.
Yeah. So I used to just show up and do podcasts sometimes, and then they skip it on.
Because then by the time this Cruiserweight... I would love to... This is actually something I'd love to learn about. How were you picked as the Cruiserweight Classic qualifying match when you weren't going to be in it. Is that a progress pick, that, or was that like?
From what I remember,
you can lie and say the WWE said
no,
we want
no,
Flash Morgan Webster now.
So what I remember, and I think this is, I remember speaking to Bull about this, and this I was saying to somebody the other day. Wrestling is so awful for how it messes with your ego and how it messes with your value as a person.
Yes,
because while Bo is one of my best mates, him and Brendan White were best men at my wedding, best guys ever. Bo did the Hydro, and this was early 2016, and I can remember him getting it, and he's my best mate, and I should be super proud and happy for him, but all I was jealous and angry.
And it's not, you would never have took it away from him.
No,
but you think
wanted it
or
to.
know that you deserve to be there.
I want it as well. Yeah,
Yes,
he's about to do one of the big. He's about to wrestle in front of 5,000 people. I want that too.
This is peak ICW. This is like
second Hydro, whatever. They're just still over 5,000 people. And me and just like so unhappy that I wasn't there, but also angry at myself because I couldn't be happy for my best friend, and like very self-aware, like you're being a prick. You're being a prick. And I can remember going down to London for Progress, being so angry that I couldn't get in. I think I even messaged ICW to try to get in, and nothing had happened, stuff like that. And I get there, and I get called into the office, and Briley's there. I think it's Briley and Smallman, I want to say, or maybe Briley and Glenn. It's definitely Briley. And they go, hey, so WWE are doing this Cruiserweight Classic, which we'd heard about, stuff like that. And they go, we know that it's going to be Gallagher and Sabre going to be qualifying from here. And I was like, okay. And they just went, you've been selected to be one of the opponents.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay, cool. And I didn't know if it was them or if it was WWE. And I didn't know this until after I got hurt. And then Regal reached out to me and I was like, oh, I was selected for this. So I think it was a case of they looked at it and gone, oh, who's got a bit of buzz, whatever, and that's how it came about.
It's like saying, oh, I can't remember how many British people were in it. Was it just two? Was it just Zach and Jack? Let's just say if it was just.
I think it would. No, there was another qualifier. Sure, there was another qualifier. Didn't Rev Pro have a qualifier?
That checks out.
Yeah, it does. And Bowden was in that qualifier, but he didn't qualify. Who was it?
Not sure.
Who was it? Oh, was it that he was in it, and then maybe they used
Neville was already there, right? Pac was already there.
Maybe it's something weird. Maybe like a Ciampa or Gargano was on it. Maybe they used
American,
him to qualify. I can't remember.
Like, say if it was just, there's only two in. We only have two spaces for British talent. Then that's nice to. This is how I would have interpreted it. I would have interpreted it as, I wasn't at that point, but I'm the next. Like, I would have been the next in line. Like, I would have been the next.
I think for me it was. I think for me it was like, we've got these two lads that we're choosing to go. And we think you would do a great job on trying to make them look good.
Yeah,
that's how I saw it.
Comes into
and
it.
I feel like at that point in Progress, that was I've been used like that in so many times.
Who was going to make these two look the best?
Yeah, who can
can
do that? Yeah. So I remember being told that, and I was like, I'll buzz in, and then my brain went, you can be happy for Hitch now.
Yeah.
And I feel like a fucking prick for that. Like I really hate that. I hate that.
You should have bought a fucking WWE tracksuit off WWEshop.com.
I did that years later.
How'd the match go, mate? Do you want to do it?
The first 4 minutes went great.
Let's do it.
4 minutes in, ankle breaks, 2 minutes.
So was the ankle 450 roll?
No.
Was that he snapped?
So I jump onto the second, he kicks my ankle shatters.
Fuck me. Just from his force. God damn.
It happens, and my ankle goes numb.
How's your... Because I've never actually spoken to you about this. Were your feet planted firmly, and that's why it happened? Were they too loose? Like... I think
it might have been that like I'm on this rope, and I think as he kicks me, I think that happens, and then it forces through. I think that happens, and I land, and I remember just grabbing my ankle and being like, "Oh, that sucks," and then it just went numb, and I went, okay, maybe I'm okay," because I'm in a boot, I'm strapped up.
Yeah. Is this your first broken bone?
That I know of, yeah.
I know of.
Yeah. I reckon I have definitely done other stuff like that. Didn't get sorted, and then I do the planches to him straight after that. We do a little turnaround and out he goes, and I do the planches, and I do the first lope and I do this tope. When I land, that's when I land, and I feel another sharp pain on my ankle. And I think as I turn, you can see me mouth the word fuck. And I take off, and I go for the flip dive. And I like to think I'm pretty good at landing on my feet on this flip dive.
Yeah.
And I do not land on my feet on that flip dive. I just eat shit on the floor. He catches me, but I eat shit.
Yeah. Usually you'd be popping off onto your feet.
And then it's in, and then it's on a fractured ankle, front flip to feet, roll through,
Yeah.
and then something, and then I go for the shooting star press, try to push off that ankle that's broken, and then I get caught in a triangle.
Yeah, right.
But because I can't push off properly, I don't make it round for the red star, and I just land shoulder first into the floor, and then that dislocates, and then get put straight in the triangle.
That's what dislocated your shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember you ever doing a shooting star in my life ever.
There was
like, I hadn't seen it.
There was a bit where I was going through because everybody was obviously super Kenny Omega fans, and there was a bit where I was doing the whole like finals carry into the red star and stuff like that. But I think maybe that
So backstage, what's the?
So I that we carry on the match. Obviously, I think I tried to go home twice, and the ref obviously think I'm just fucking up, so they just kind of keeps on going.
Look at this shit!
Oh my god! It was just my thought of I'm gonna have to get put into that bloody into that submission. What's the one he?
What was the one he did for the?
It's the one with the arms. It's the Jim
Wrench
Special.
Woo!
Well, shoulders out. Shoulders out. Honestly, I think I was up there with the most pain I've ever experienced in my life. And then I get backstage and walk back, and Sabre goes, "You were right." And I just go, "Oh, my shoulder's out." And then he's like, "Oh shit!" Like he was like, "I didn't know. It's fine. It's fine."
Yeah.
And then I get.
Do you not try and communicate during? Did you just think, "Fuck it"?
It's so hard because if you wrestled Sabre.
Yeah, no, never.
So outside of the opening bits where we wrestle around and it's all kind of on the fly, a lot of his stuff is very intricate and very. So it's hard sometimes to like
have that moment.
Yeah, and also as well, I'm also so much younger, and this is the first time I've ever been in front of a big.
Yeah, you're a big dumb wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. So I keep trying. I think I'll just get to the next thing where it's cool because we're not at the point yet where we could go home, and then maybe like 3/4 I'm like, okay, we can go home now, and I try twice and it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
and then it's just like, oh, okay, no, we just keep, I guess we're just stomach.
Is it a hospital job? Is it? Is it like from the venue?
Oh
yeah, straight to hospital.
Ambulance. Yeah, they bring an ambulance, and ambulance takes me to the hospital. Pete goes with me. It takes a doctor, a nurse tries to put it back in, doesn't go in. Doctor tries to put it back in, doesn't go in, and then it ends up being.
Are you under anaesthetic?
Because
that sounds horrendous.
I'm gassing A, and at the end it ends up being two nurses holding me down with one doctor with his knee across my chest while the other one pushes my shoulder back in. And it's because it happened, let's say 3:00. And because by the time an ambulance gets through London and I get into the waiting room, on Sunday, I literally have probably had the shoulder out of the joint for about 2 hours.
It's ready to stay there forever.
Yeah, it wants to stay there. It wants to stay there. All the muscle pulling against it. So then it pops back in. And because of that, like my ankle is not really a concern. I get put in a moon boot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It isn't until a couple of days later.
In quote marks, a normal, simple break.
Yeah.
Maybe. Whereas your shoulder should not be out.
Yeah, well, I get put in a moon boot, but they don't really say I have a broken ankle at this point. So I go home and I'm given a CD-ROM with my images on because I'm going back home, and they're like, you can give this to the doctors hospital in a few days so they do your checkups.
Okay.
But I think because of all the confusion, I end up leaving that CD-ROM somewhere. So then when I get to my hospital up here, they're like, well, we have to go through everything again. Fuck. So then I X-ray my ankle again. They're like, oh, you've got a double fracture. Which they even missed when they didn't see.
What's a double fracture?
So it's just it's fractured. It's like it's fractured once, and then they can see it's fractured a second time. So I'm guessing
one's from the kick,
and one's probably from the land. Yeah, dive.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long were you out for then?
So
what's the healing time for both? I guess like
you really to be back off a shoulder dislocation, you can probably be back in contact within 6 months. Really, 4 to 6 months. If you're sensible,
but is that 6 months to be a normal human being, or is that 6 months to be a wrestler?
Well, I need a surgery too. So that she was an NHS job, so it was a case of getting seen by getting an MRI, arthrogram, getting a surgery appointment. So that happened in the April. I don't return to wrestling until my first match back then is March 2017.
So what are the emotions of like? I don't know. Because like you were just saying about the Hitch stuff, like, oh, I can brag to Hitch now. Like I could be happy for him.
I don't even brag. You know
what I mean? But like you were like on this fucking, you were gassed.
Like so happy. You feel like with those things where you feel like when you feel you can't be happy for people. I think it's because you feel like you're falling behind.
Yeah.
Like even doing well, I'm falling behind. So once I feel like I cut through classic, I can be fully happy for him
because we're both winning.
Because we both win, and that's what I want. I want us both to win. Which I feel, I still this day, I still feel like it. No, I still feel like a dick because he's my best friend. And now, retrospectively looking back on my career and knowing where it went and other things, I can now look back and be like, you shouldn't have been so fucking upset about those things, and you were a prick for thinking those things. But I guess this is probably why my generation and my group of friends probably succeeded, because we were all supportive of each other, but also competitive with each other. Yeah.
Do you think with like every 5 years, and this is British specific as well, it gets drastically easier, or like WWE gets so much more within reach every 5 years? I feel like that happens. Like say in Attitude Era, it was like Regal, full stop. Do you know what I mean? Like, then every 5 years, like, oh, now there's Paul Burchill and like then Drew McIntyre and Sheamus get in. It gets like that little bit more accessible. Whereas now, post NXT UK, it's like it's so within reach. Like, but in what did you say it was 15, 16?
16.
In 2016, it still wasn't that accessible. There weren't people just getting signed every like.
The people who were getting signed were 6'2", 16 stone.
Yeah, even like Zach being in that tournament was like, oh fucking hell! Like he's not even 225 pounds.
Yeah, he's not a WWE wrestler. He's exactly. Yeah, he doesn't work that style.
My point being is like, I would have been devastated because it's finally within reach after it never has been for like the last 15 years. It finally feels accessible, and you've just been taken out for at least 6 months.
I think it was more a case of watching what happened over that next year was more difficult.
What happened in that? Was that?
So it's 2016. The boom.
Yeah.
Happens. The boom actually. So I want to put it in this perspective, right? When I get injured in the April, and when I come back in March, in that time period, there was no British Strong Style did not exist. They were not an entity. By the time I came back, they were all signed by WWE, and they were. And Pete was the Progress champion.
Wow.
Pete was an opening act at Progress when I got hurt. In those 11 months, CCK did not exist. Or if they did exist, they were in their infancy in the sense that they had done a few KT shows. By the time I come back, they are arguably the biggest and most successful act in the UK.
And if they weren't on Progress yet, this was when
they were dying for it. It was the rumbling of it.
Trent was probably only wrestling on Fight Club. Now he's ICW champion.
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Or he was doing like ICW and he wasn't anywhere else.
It's like a whole generational shift.
So yeah, exactly. And then the Aussies hadn't come over. So like Travis hadn't come over.
They're probably a tag champs at this point.
So like I think they might have been on their way to becoming it, and Travis on his way to becoming what he was going to become.
Yeah.
So like it was watching that entire tonal shift of the thing, and then in that time, as I said, the UK Championship tournament happens.
Yeah.
So Mark is still at TNA at this point.
Oh my god!
And by the time I return, Mark is a re-signed wrestler.
See, that's obscene.
So having that the entire shift, like it absolutely just like.
This is what I was getting at. Did you feel like it's beyond just feeling left out? Because this is like the thing you love.
Yeah.
Is this like feeling like left behind?
Yeah.
Like, that could have been me.
Yeah.
Because especially when, say, if it was just 2 people getting picked up. Let's pretend NXT UK didn't happen. Just 2 people got signed, Pete and Tyler. Let's say. This is 20 people getting an opportunity.
Yeah.
Were you thinking, because I would have been, if I were you, I would have been like, oh, I would have been in that.
Yeah.
Like, I would have been in that.
I remember speaking this to Mark, and I remember saying that to him, and Mark saying to me, like, there's no guarantees in wrestling. So he was like,
which is true.
He went to me, he went, you could have been around, and he was like, they could have just gone to themselves, we need one Welsh wrestler. And Mark Andrews might have come up on the horizon, and they might have just picked Mark up. And I could have been sat there going, oh, I'm just not good enough. Where he was like, at least you being out for that time, maybe that'll give you a blanket of, I would have been. I give you the confidence. I would have been selected,
like a mental blanket. Maybe
we spoke about this because there's no guarantees, is there, in this?
No.
All I would say is like
you can use. I'm going to be devil's advocate and say you can use logic and reason.
Yeah,
I would have deducted.
I think I would. I think it would have been a good chance. I would be, but I will also say I don't think I was ready for that opportunity.
Well, you're only going to get better the longer you.
I don't think I was ready for that opportunity. I don't think I was ready for that sort of pressure. I don't do well with pressure and stage fright. Like I probably needed a little bit more. And I probably would have come into that UK tournament, that first UK tournament if I was in it, where they already knew that they wanted Pete and Tyler to be the stars.
Yeah.
I probably would have gone out in the first round.
Yeah,
whereas,
to one of them, like really, because you would have made them look amazing.
Yeah, whereas the second UK tournament, I went to the semi-finals.
Yeah.
So, and again, I always say this, when I started wrestling, people asking about goals and aspirations, my goal, and people would say, like, WWE, is like, yeah, that was a pipe dream. To me, I'm 5'8".
Exactly.
I'm 5'8". I'm currently the heaviest I've ever been, which is 175 pounds. But then I wasn't. And I was never going to, I'm never going to get signed with WWE. But where I wanted to be, and I thought maybe this was achievable, was PWG.
Yeah, yeah.
So when everyone else was in WWE, and I came back in 2017, And I always say this to people. One of the best advice I was given by Spud was he went, "What we do in the ring is such a little part of what the wrestling business is." He said, "Here's your time to get better at everything else."
Yeah. Yeah.
So during that time,
that's really
good. During that time, I did like my run at Chaos and did the Love Will Tear Us Apart promo and stuff like that. And I got good at promos, and I started the podcast, and I got better at making merchandise and understanding how merchandise worked. And I'd sit and watch shows and go like, "Why is Pete over? Why is Chris on the rise? Why is this working?
Why does Chris have the longest merch queue?"
Yeah. At the time he didn't though, see. So it was like, why are they on the rise and why are they? How did he manage to capture this? And like he came out to Human Fly, and it's like, okay, he's using music that doesn't work, shouldn't work in wrestling, but it's more captivating because of that.
And you wouldn't have had this opportunity to step back and look because you would have been just focused on my match tonight.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So then I will say I left and I was an opening act. I was like an opening to mid-card act at Progress. And when I returned in March, I was a main eventer. I literally came back.
How did you return? What was
they were beat. It was British Strong Style beating down Jimmy, and then everything goes quiet, and then In the City hits. And I remember thinking they're not going to cater, and the place erupts. Amazing. And then I walk out. And then I'm stood there waiting, and I turn and do this, and Haskins' music hits, and we walk at the same time, and we come down. Everyone's going nuts. Everyone's going great, just stuff like that. And I don't know. I remember speaking to Pete about it, and Pete was saying at the time, like he thinks the booking was wrong. He said he thinks it should have then gone to be just 6-man a week later or a month later, and Jimmy won. He thinks it probably should have been that like maybe I won that, and then Mark Haskins went into Strong Style, and maybe Haskins got all the way to like the final and then lost last hurdle or something like that. So we had 2 different stories and elevating people at the same time.
Yeah.
And then Pete's other thing was he was talking about that. He was like, "Oh, the other thing," and I don't think this would have worked, but at the time he thought about it, he was toying with the idea of adding more people to British Strong Style and making it more of a stable. I think I don't know whether it was a fleeting thought at one point, like a Bullet Club was doing it. Yeah. But he just turned and said, if you'd returned on that night with Haskins and you just turned and swung a chair at his head and just joined us, he's like, that would have been That would have been. And he also said to me, he's like, "Oh, you wore suits and stuff like that, so you would have just fit straight in the aesthetic." But again, it was I think that was a glancing thing that he said. But at the time, after seeing the booking kind of go a different direction, you are there and going, "Oh, that would have been cool." Yeah. But as I said, I came back, and then 2017 is arguably it's the year I wrestled the most. I wrestled 210 matches that year, 2017. Did Peter Uji that year?
Did you get signed that year?
No, 2018 I got signed.
18.
But 17 I think is my busiest, and I feel like that's the year I become a star. I feel.
Yeah. During this, so you've come back, and then before, so you got like at least a full year before you get
11
signed.
months.
Before you get signed.
Yeah.
Is there contact at that point? Is Regal belling the line, or is it just like? One, I know you as a person and a wrestler. You probably just gassed to be back. You're not even thinking just about that. But like, was that coming into it? Were you like thinking, oh?
So I'm out injured during that 11 months, and I'm at a Progress show, and Regal's there as a surprise for everyone. And he walks out, and I think to myself, I'll go up and have a chat with him in a minute. I'll go chat with him whatever. And again, even though I'd been like, I'd had a little bit of contact with him after I got hurt, saying, "I saw you got hurt. Hope the recovery's fine. Don't rush back. Wrestling will always be here." That's what he said. Don't rush back. Make sure you're fully healed. But again, I don't know how much is it fan service? Does he actually know who I am? Like, if he put a room full of wrestlers, could he go, "That's who he is"? Yeah. Or is it, he sees my Twitter and he can just message me on Twitter? And I'm at Progress, and they're kind of chatting away. So I see Regal, he's coming. He's everyone's flocking to him, and I'm like, I was like, I'll leave it. I'll chat to him at some point today. And I remember talking to somebody, turning, and he's just there. And he goes, and I go, oh, hello. I go, and he goes, "Flash Morgan Webster."
Oh, amazing.
And I was like, oh my god, like it was someone like, he knows my name. Yes. And we have a little bit of a chat, and he's asking how the injury is and all this other stuff. And then and that's generally the gist of that. And then I come back in the March, and apparently Regal is sat around trying to figure out tryouts for May 2017. And
were you on that one?
I was on the one that had
because Brooks.
I was on Brooks' one.
Right. Okay.
And apparently they were trying to sort it out, and apparently Glenn was sat around and they were all trying to come up with names and figure it out. And apparently Fergal's the one that goes, "Is Flashback?" And they go, "Yeah." He goes, "He should have tried." And I met Fergal. I met Fergal a few years before, once,
like at Rev Pro or something.
No, it was Infinite Promotions. He wrestled CJ Banks in Liverpool. But
sick.
We ended up talking because I had a brief little conversation with him, and I don't know if you like. And then he knows Big Dog from down South Wales who does Welsh wrestling. Yeah. Because he trained by him. And he'd gone down and had some food with him recently, So I end up speaking to him like briefly and go like, oh, general like, how's the flight? All these things. You try to make conversation with them.
Get a window seat.
When you don't know them. And he goes, oh, you're Welsh? I go, yeah. And the next words out of his mouth are, do you know Mean Tommy Dean? And I'm like,
do you know Mean Tommy Dean?
do you? What do you mean? Of course I know who Bolt is. How do you know who Bolt is? And he just starts talking to me about him. And then we have a little conversation. I just turn and say to him afterwards, thanks for the advice or whatever. I ask him to watch my match, and he does. Yeah. And he gives me a bit of advice, and I say anything? And he just goes, yeah, keep in contact. And I think that night, after the show, I followed him, and he just followed me straight back. And then
he meant it.
Yeah, and then when I got hurt, he got hurt just 3 months later. So I got hurt, and he got hurt at SummerSlam, same dislocation. So I was waiting for surgery, and I think we ended up having surgery around about the same time. And I messaged him to be like, hey man, sorry about the shoulder, you know about this, just has happened. And then this is how much a good brother he is. He was just sending me loads of the
WWE protocol, for free.
Yeah, just send me stuff. Go, do this, make sure you do that. Like, stay away from this, stay away from that. And then, and that was the only real interaction I had with him.
Wow.
And then literally, the fact he didn't really know me and he went to bat for me that day.
There are some good fucking
He's
people.
He's a great guy, yeah. He's a great guy.
Lycos was talking about Alex Shelley, just help, because obviously he's sports therapy, right? Shelley?
Oh yeah, Shelley.
Yeah. So, just giving him all this free stuff. There are some good brothers.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
There are some good brothers and sisters about.
So I had that tryout in May 17, and I'm like, I'm getting signed. And then I didn't get signed.
You didn't get signed off the tryout?
Nah, nobody got signed off that tryout.
What the hell?
Nobody at all. Nobody got signed off that tryout. So I remember being devastated, and then I did think to myself, well, maybe it's not happening. Maybe okay. So then I went.
They took one look at the UK scene and went, oh!
They were like, no, don't want this. So it was like, yeah, I was like, oh, it ain't happening.
How weird. Did you have, what was it? Was it like, oh, keep working hard, or was it like?
Yeah, it was a case of, oh, we haven't got anything for anyone at the moment. Wow. We'll just, it was good for everyone. It's like, so why are you having these tryouts? It's really weird.
What hilarious verbiage to be like, no, we're going to do a tryout for 20 of you, but we don't have anything for anyone. So we don't have anything for any of you.
So I think at this point, maybe I'm not getting signed. And then me and my now wife, Jordan, are looking for moving together.
Shout out Jordan.
And, yeah, we're moving together and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, I haven't really got steady income. I had that year where I was hurt. And got the deal or no deal money would have been real hard.
My God. Right. Wrap this shit up, Flash. Because we have to get the deal or no deal. Oh my God. Yeah. So go on. Sorry.
Yeah. So I'm like, I've already got PGC at this point. I've just qualified. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll take a full teaching job. And I find a school that's near me, and they're doing a half teaching, half technician. And I was like, that's great. I'll have loads of time to sign books, have the weekend free.
Yeah.
Be great. Fantastic. And they have a conversation with me saying, are you committed to this? Because you do a lot of the wrestling. And I'm like, yep, fully committed, 100%.
Amazing.
So I have the interview. They're like, yep, starting in September. They will call you back in next week. And then I'm sitting there ready to go in to be told I'm going to have this job. It's a formality. I'm just on my phone, and I go on my emails, and then it comes up, Battle of Los Angeles inquiry.
Oh!
PWG, and I'm like, fuck.
At that point, was it in September?
It was like, I think it would have been, it was in September, the show. So it was that week.
Because I swear it used to be August, and you would have been fine. If they would have
first week of September. So I walked in, and they went, we want to give you the job. And I went, about that, can I have the first week of September off? And they went, definitely not.
No, yeah, of course not.
So I went home and spoke to Jordan and went to Jordan, this is the dilemma. We can either take this job and we've got steady income. We can we can not buy a house, we can rent a house.
Yeah.
And we can move in together. Or I can go do PWG.
What did she say?
She turned and said to me, which one would you regret more not doing? And I said,
yo, what a fucking partner.
And I went to her, I'd regret not doing PWG.
Of course. Selfishly, of course.
And she went, there'll be more jobs, go do PWG.
Yo, fucking shout out Jordan.
That's right there.
Is
the last week of me having a real job ever.
I thought you were going to say that's when I knew I was going to marry her.
Well, I did all those for a long time afterwards, but
wow.
But that was the last week.
Incredible.
I finished that up, and that was the last time I worked any job outside of wrestling.
Would you say that was 18?
2017.
17, got me, yeah, of course.
July 2017, yeah.
Do you think it was then Bowler that gave you the extra boost to get noticed and signed, or what do you reckon? You were already chatting with Regal anyway. So.
Yeah, I think it was a case of when they were doing the second UK tournament and they were going to do this.
Yeah,
definitely World of Sport, obviously, because they really love a monopoly and they
have
to control everything.
Yeah, nothing about all this fucking wrestling bullshit. Noel Edmonds.
Let's get into it.
Right.
So
How on earth did this come about?
So 2015.
Do you apply? I'm assuming you apply.
I do apply. 2015. I think it happens.
Because I remember you kayfabing the amount and everything.
Yeah, I had to. I signed an NDA. I signed an NDA. Literally couldn't tell people. But they said you can tell your friends and family if you can't tell anyone else.
But the boys and girls are the boys and girls.
Oh yeah, but it would be on the dirt sheet straight away.
Yeah, via me.
Sean Ross Sapp would be fucking counting those pennies. I finished uni, and me and Jordan were looking to move in together and stuff like that. But I didn't have a job, doing a bit of wrestling. So one day, I think she goes off to work, and she's like, "Oh, if you can apply for some stuff today, that'd be great." And she came back, and she's like, "What have you applied for today?" I went, "Deal or no deal." So she was like, "Wanted me to apply for jobs," and I went apply for deal or no deal. And then I was doing I'm
gonna meet Mr. Blobby, man.
So I went and started my PGC in the September, and they rang me wanting me to be on it. So I had to go. They rang me and said, "We want you to go down to Bristol and do this audition thing." Yeah. So I went down to the audition thing. And it's such a weird thing because when you're in there, I think it's wrestling. Wrestling just gives you fake confidence.
Yes.
And when you're in there and you see all these regular people and you can catch they're watching you, and you know when you're on and you're helping other people and just kayfabe and all that. And then as soon as they were like the end of it, I was like, "Oh, I've got this." I just knew straight away.
Same.
They were like, "Oh yeah, you're down to the thing. We'll contact you if the space comes available." So they rang me again first week of when I started my PGC, and I was like, "I can't." They're like, "You need to come for 2 weeks," and I was like, "I can't do it." And then they went, "Okay. We'll be in contact again if there's any more spaces."
No, they want me to come down for 2 weeks. What do I tell them?
And then they rang me again, and they gave me another date. At this point, I was in my actual placement at the school, and they wanted me to come for 2 weeks, and I was just like, I can't. And they were like, "Oh God, there's a good opportunity," and I was like, "I'm at this PhD, and I can't get time off. I'm not allowed to book time off in my studies." And then I got another call, but this one was off the producer who I'd met at the show, and he went, "Listen, what if we did a week?" And I went, "It'd be more doable." And then I was like, "But I'm still in term time." And he went to me, "What dates could you do?" So literally allowed me to I think they were just wanted, they liked me, they wanted the wrestling on. So I was like, yeah. And it still even fell during that time that I was like, I picked it for the end of I couldn't get it so it worked. I wasn't in school. I had to pick it for when there was a residential week. So I was supposed to be going and doing this residential. So I literally "Oh yeah, I'm going to go on this residential on the school trip with everybody," and then just called in sick for an entire week. And just went down to Bristol and lived in a
Those poor children.
You live in a hotel for a week with all the other contestants.
Yeah.
And you literally do.
Can you see your partner?
Well, you can. They could be
it wasn't
she could be the hotel.
Yeah,
she could be the hotel, but obviously it's Bristol and Jordan works up here, so it was never happening. And I will just say this: so many people are shagging.
Yo!
They literally are putting young people in that fucking hotel.
That is sick.
People are just shagging.
Yo!
So they are literally, and then I heard as well from when I got there, they were saying, these people telling me "Oh, there was an older couple that were having an affair for 2 weeks when they were there and stuff like that." And I was weren't there when I was there, but I was like, what?
Pineapples on the doors, all that stuff.
But you meet so many interesting people. There was a young girl called Shauna May, and she was trying to be a country and western singer. There's a lad called Dave, who I'm still in contact with, Dave, his job is he's a professional clown.
Right. Was he a clown at the time?
Yeah.
He sounds like a clown.
Yeah, he's a professional clown, and then he also does he has a Ghostbuster car and a Ghostbuster suit and stuff again. He goes into the Comic Cons and stuff like that.
He's definitely getting on Deal or No Deal.
Oh my God. Outstanding. He's the man. Proper from Cornwall and stuff like that. So I went down for 2 weeks. You literally record 3 episodes a day.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
3 episodes a day for 4 days a week. So you don't do the Friday. So 2 on the Friday, I think you go home early. And I'm doing that while I'm doing my PGC. I'm doing progress while doing this and stuff like that. Trying to keep it quiet from everybody.
Wait, so you're wrestling in between filming some of the episodes?
Yeah. So I think maybe I went down on the Thursday and the Friday. And I think I was at the end. They said you had to do 7 days. Thursday and the Friday, when I did progress. And then did 4 days or whatever.
That's so
did my
sick.
game on the
Bet you were so popular there, man. Everyone talked. It's in Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, everyone's
the contestants.
Yeah. It's just lots of fun, lots of banter and stuff. And I think as well, because lots of these people, for them, it's this is their opportunity to change their life. And don't get me wrong, obviously it is an opportunity for me to change my life as well.
Yeah,
but for me, I just thought it was an opportunity. I always thought about this. People go on game shows, and I thought it's a good, if you go on a game show and you get all the questions wrong, you look like a dickhead.
Yeah.
Whereas a bit there's only one question I have to ask on this.
Yeah.
So this is why when you watch if people see my game, it is out there, you can find it, whatever. There's a moment where I realize I'm not going to win the big money. Yeah. And I become Flash Morgan Webster again.
Yeah.
And I just start having jokes and bants with everyone and chatting and talking. And it's because to me then it's this is just an audition now for me to be on TV.
I remember my nan we used to always watch Deal or No Deal together. When I was in school, I used to always go to hers afterwards and always watch it together. But then I remember when your season, if you'd call it a season, was on, she messaged me, she's like, oh, there's a wrestler on. And I had to bite my lip and not call you every name under the sun. I was like, yeah, I know. And he wouldn't tell me what his fucking money was.
Well, I tried to keep it quiet that I was on
You
there.
did the right thing.
I tried to keep it quiet that I was on there. And they have a warm-up comedian beforehand. And he like chats to the contestants. And he goes, oh, what do you do? And stuff like that, right, to warm up the crowd.
Yeah.
And he has a conversation. So I go to him. He goes, what do you do? And I go, oh, I'm a professional wrestler. And he goes, do you know Jim Smallman?
Fuck off.
Game over. So I went out to Progress and weekend, walked in, Jim's like, oh, deal no deal here?
No.
I was like, Jim, you can't tell anyone, I can't tell anyone.
That's
That won't
funny.
tell anyone.
What did you walk away with? It was something
10,000
decent, wasn't it?
£10,000.
Yeah, yeah.
10,000.
Can you tell me where that money went?
Blow
Blow and hookers.
Learned to drive, because I'd never had the money to learn to drive, bought a car, and then the rest.
Did you not drive until then? As if.
No. This is why I always get annoyed. This is why
I always have it in my head, you're a driver.
This is why I always get annoyed by people saying they can't get places if they can't drive, because I feel like you saying that now just goes, oh, but you always just got around places. And I always did.
Yeah.
I would sleep in train stations. I would go to, I remember getting stuck in Birmingham. I went to the airport, just sleep in the airport. I wouldn't fly in anyway. I went, well, that's going to be open. I could sleep in the airport for the night.
Yeah.
And then went the next time. Slept in a, I remember going to a nightclub and literally going out with this nightclub open till 4. I'll go in and just literally drink water and just stand there, whatever. And this is why I love the Actual Boys. Yeah. Because when I met them, they didn't drive, they still don't drive, and they are everywhere. And I'm like, how are you everywhere?
No matter what, they're everywhere.
Because they put the graft in and they will find a way. They will take the booking and they will figure it out afterwards.
I've said this to Lycos and Lycos 2, actually, that they're like, they wouldn't have been out of place in that era of British wrestling in terms of putting the shift in, like grafting hard, like everything you just said, basically, is like, that's a graft that isn't around as much now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think as well, like, they are students of British wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, they were getting Wrestle Crate and watching Southsides and Attacks and all this stuff.
So sick.
Like, when they wrestled for Chaos, like, Knudsen cried afterwards because he spent years watching it. When they got to do the bingo hall, they were so excited for Modern Nomad. Then when they got their attack, now they are the Chaos Pro Wrestling, the Chaos Tag Team Champions and the Champions.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No, they are the. It could be anyone, to be honest.
Take that out. Take that out.
I'm leaving it in. And I'm
no, Uncle, kill me.
Amplifying the sound.
Uncle, kill me. I think
we won't dwell on it too much, but when I got detained on the way to Attack,
I've heard about this.
They were in the car.
I've heard about this.
And they posted. Well, Knudsen posted it everywhere, obviously, because he's a little goblin. But then they weren't on the show. It was really weird.
They literally just go and if they go weekends
when we
free,
say students of the game,
they go weekends free. They are there watching. And they are doing stuff and 100%.
It would be incorrect not to bring up Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah,
that was the one, right?
Yeah.
Is this? Forgive me for not being a Fed head. All right. Was this? And I only know this from watching you two as friends. This was the ladder match. No. Ladder match was Cardiff.
No.
Where the fuck were the ladders?
Ladders were Blackpool
Tower?
Ballroom.
No,
Blackpool Empress Ballroom.
So what was Royal
Albert Hall?
Was that the tournament?
Tournament with Gibson won.
Yeah,
that wasn't even my debut. My debut was 205 Live.
Yes,
the O2. Yeah.
Where did you win the belts? So that one was
Cardiff.
That one was right.
That's why it was so special.
Right. Yeah, that's the one that I remember the most.
Yeah.
We can be real. How was that? That's got to be the most unreal. Like,
yeah, if you say to me, "What's the best moment of my career?" It's that moment right there.
I'm in your abode right now. I don't see any wrestling stuff, but if I was to see one thing, I would have imagined it.
I have the I have the belt.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I have when we were told everything was shutting down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I have the official nameplate that was
that
has Andrews and Flash.
Okay, that's sick.
That's
sick.
Andrews Webster. Yeah.
No one can ever take that away from you.
No, we have
first ever Welsh champions.
Yeah. Yeah, unreal. Which is mental. Yeah. Like the amount they did sign Welsh people before us, and it never happened.
Isn't it great? Because I'm a Welshman. I'm a deceptive Welshman. A lot of people think I'm English. We can sneak in and be so many firsts. We're never going to be the first British people to do anything. But how many first things have you done as a Welshman? Probably fucking heaps.
Yeah, probably.
First Welshman to do this.
We're the first Welshman to the whole TNA World Tag Team Championships.
Everything.
Yeah.
So we can sneak in as Welshmen, and I'm very, very lucky. I wanted to talk about, and I intentionally, I hope you're impressed with this as a new podcaster,
as the facilitator of this,
of this conversation. I intentionally left out chaos until the last portion of this, What does chaos mean to you? Because were you Office from day one?
No.
Were you just a wrestler
Mm-hmm.
with Hitch? How did you get into chaos? Because I'm gonna you see where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I'm not even on the first Chaos show.
No,
I'm not. Hitch is on the first Chaos. No, he isn't. Danny Jones is on the first Chaos show. I think he's the only wrestler who's still there now. Who's on the first Chaos show. I don't think Hitch was. I definitely wasn't. I was on the second or the third.
Even Hitch.
I think Hitch might have been on the second. Maybe he was on the first. I don't know.
I can blur his name if you want. Dave. Former Chaos Dave.
Yeah, Dave Mercy.
Yeah,
Dave Mercy.
We can still admit, right?
Yeah, we can talk about Dave.
He doesn't want to keep his.
No, I saw him 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
It's like, how did you get to meet Dave, or was he?
So, I wrestled CSF promotion that's still around now. Shout out to Natty, doing some great stuff down there. I think that there should be loads of wrestlers trying to work on those areas and those shows. It is very much still real to the people in Frome and in.
Those are the best shows.
Because they think it's
those
real.
are the best shows.
And I was down in Bridgewater, and it was me and Morgan Izzard.
Yes!
Versus
OG!
Versus Dave. I want to say it was Nick or Gideon, and we were
Gideon
heel.
so checks out.
I want to say it was heel. I was a heel, and I was in the face so much that there was 2 lads down from Bridgewater trying to climb over the barriers, trying to get to me. And I was in their face going for it, whatever. Which then meant that when the hot tag came and I took the hot tag off Dave, the place was going absolutely crazy.
Oh, yes.
And then I think in there, I just heard Dave say, "You got to pin me," and they just did the finish on me instead of pin me.
You called it.
Called it, yeah.
Ah, nice.
I remember just thinking at the time, like, I just won't tag in Morgan for the finish. So I think I took something that's supposed to fall into Morgan. There he is. So I think I just kind of take it and said, "You got to pin me," and then knocked Morgan off, and then we did it. And Dave got back, and Dave was like, "Who are you?" Like, he never met me before.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, like."
Where the fuck have you come
from?
Yeah,
pretty much. He's like, where the fuck are you? And I'm still yellow bikers, Flash.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So he was like, fucking hell, like
where have you crawled out?
Yeah, pretty much. And then he was talking about doing these shows, and nothing ever happened. And there's other stuff. And maybe I met Dave once or twice after that. But then he started. We were doing Triple X.
Yeah.
And he was
Coventry.
Coventry, yeah. And he was on this sleazy Dave Mercy, and I was. Loads of the boys were on the Triple X shows, and I remember then they booked a show at one point, and I wasn't on it. And I remember I was just on all of them.
I bet Hitch was.
He definitely was. And I was
story of your career.
My career. Wait, keep me on my toes now, boy. Keep me on my toes. I'm so glad he's finished now. I'm free. But he, I remember I just wasn't booked on it. And I remember messaging Jekyll about it and asking him. And the general gist was, we haven't got anything for you. That was literally what we don't know how to use you. And it was a case of Mark was on the show. And I think the general gist was we only need one Welsh High Flyer pretty much. And we got Mark. And Mark, there's a lot of people that come after Mark. But he's the OG, man. I still feel like he's one of the best. I think when it comes to being clean and everything like that, he's one of the best high flyers Wales ever produced.
Yeah. When you think of say Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, I think he's
because Rey Mysterio does not do the most incredibly
he could, and he used to be able to do it.
He's not doing triple moonsaults and XYZ, but everything that Mark does, obviously not to diminish a shooting star press. That is insane. He is, like you said, the cleanest.
Standing moonsets and stuff like that.
In a time when no one did, especially not in Wales.
Yeah. So I don't. So I kind of realized at this point it was I'm the second best high flyer in Wales, and that's why I'm being seen. It's just really pushed me down the mod thing of I've really got to make this
a character.
Make this. I want people to see. I want to see Flash Morgan Webster. And I remember pitching to them what if I do this thing? And I offered to go. I offered to go there for free, and I said, what if I show up early? I'll help set up and stuff like that, and then I'll leave out the back, and then when all the fans are queuing up, I'll get in the queue with the fans, and I'll show up and try to get in, and I'll want to come in, and I've got comp tickets and have a little bit of a kick off and a fuss.
Oh yeah.
Paid money, but I had to get money out and paid money in front of the fans. I was effing and blinding in front of the fans. Went and sat down and I said, and then halfway through the show when they do something, I get a megaphone out and I'll start shouting and screaming with a megaphone and stuff like that. And then I said they could drag me out, and I just warned all the people who could be dragging me out and we'd be swinging and kicking, so I'm catching the face. So I apologize. Yeah. I said to him, I'm gonna, as you grab me, I'm gonna let the megaphone fall. It's gonna break and blow everywhere and stuff like that.
Look as real as possible.
Yeah, possible. Fucking kick stuff, break stuff, pull stuff down there, post on the wall. I did all that. Put on this curtain.
Yeah.
And then left and fucking tweeted out afterwards. And then they loved it, thought it was great.
Probably got 2 likes.
Yeah,
Twitter
probably.
Well, that's good though, committing that hard.
And then they said, we'll do that again. And again, I wasn't getting paid for these. I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was a bit if I had bookings, I would say I can't do it, but I didn't have bookings, so I just showed up and did it. I think I got them to cover my expenses from Wolves on the second one.
That's great.
So cool. Done, sorted, brilliant. And then literally did it 2 or 3, and then within about 4 or 5 months, I'd gone from being this person they didn't book to them having a main storyline and thinking, oh, we might push you towards the belt. And I had a blow off with Mark Andrews, and we had a match, and like I was the most hated. There's a photo which I absolutely love, which has Gadge in it, and has a few others like Ben Corrigan and stuff like that, and they're all their fingers like pointing their fingers up at me, and I'm like in their face, and I'm
probably like, knuckles white, like holding the middle finger
in my face, and I went from being somebody that they did not care for to be the most hated man in that promotion. From me going like, okay,
they couldn't have planned that better if they tried.
They could, like, and then which is brilliant, is they obviously it stopped doing it, but Dave was on those shows.
Yeah.
And Dave went, oh, this would be great at Chaos.
Yeah.
So then he pitched, I'm going to bring you in, and you're going to be on a losing streak, and then you're going to turn, and we're going to push you as this heel. And that's what happened. We did that, and Dave will tell me, he's gone on record many times to say I am the best and worst person to work with creatively, because I will fight him every step of the way on everything. But I also bring so much to the table for everybody.
You've got the thing. Your priority is the story in itself. It's not as if it's just your thing.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's not as if how can you look your best. You are.
I'd walk in and be like, I'd walk in and they say,
this is what's best for...
main event is this. I go, why?
Yeah.
And not because I want to be the main event, because I want to know if you are pushing me towards that belt, I want that belt to mean so much more by the time I get there. Exactly. And then I want to make sure that while I have that belt, you're pushing that undercard up so the right person takes the belt off me. Like that's what I saw when I spoke about that. So Dave did that. We did the turn, and then when I got hurt, I went to Dave, messaged him, said I'm hurt. I'll be out for 11 months. So sorry, man, I've cancelled plans. And Dave Mercy replied back with, how's your left hand? How's your left arm? And I went, why? He went, can you hold a microphone? He went, because as long as you can hold a microphone, you're valuable to me. That's what he said.
Oh,
and then literally, I again couldn't drive or anything, so I was getting travel all the way down and stuff like that, put me down. And then again, I returned and took the Chaos belt straight away, and then had a major run with that Chaos belt. And I feel, like I always say, Chaos is the place. Chaos and Attack are the places that made sure that when I got to Progress, I was ready for those opportunities.
Because you'd done the stories, you'd done the sick matches. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I fucked up more times than people ever
in front of those people, so you didn't have. Not that it's like lesser, but
the on demand wasn't as big. And
WWE watching Progress first. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So what was your last Chaos match? Not as in last up to now. When was the end of that era? Did you do one blow off one before, like you got signed, or was
I think we all got kind of signed when we were told and then we were all still allowed to work the indies.
Yeah.
And then that slowly got taken away because people either got hurt on shows.
And then I remember it also being like, okay, now you can't do Progress. And it slowly like whittled down.
It was because people started getting hurt. So I remember them having like a weekend of shows planned, and then people got hurt, and then they would just be like, oh, we have to rewrite all of TV.
Yeah, can you really fault it? No.
Like, and also as well, I think also as well, when this happened, we were sat down and they went, you can't do the indies anymore. And everyone was like, oh, they went, but we're going to pay you more. So when people think about it, because there was also things when they said, you can't, and then it slowly slipped again that we could then do shows, but it was shows that were like only ones that they had okayed. So like the Progresses, we got people like Chaos was put on the list, and the Attack was put on the list and stuff like that. So that was all fine. So we kind of kept on doing it. There was a portion where I think James Drake had got signed and told he couldn't work anymore, but he was like their briefcase holder, and then the rules changed, and Dave was adamant, Dave Mercy, that the rules were going to change. So he just didn't take the briefcase off him. So then literally 6 months later, he just showed up and just cashed in, and everyone went fucking nuts. Like, he's very, I think that there's people in this country who don't get their flowers when it comes to promoting and building British wrestling. Mm-hmm. One of those men is Dave Mercy. The other one is Ben Old. Yes. They're the two that people don't talk about. Yes. We talk about Fludder, and Fludder's still there now. I believe maybe some of the stuff that Fludder's done since the rise has maybe hurt his reputation. But I do believe Ben Old and Dave Mercy are the two people I believe that do not get their flowers. And
those foundations of British wrestling, man.
The scene is how it is in the Southwest because of him.
Like when we spoke about it before too, that like the PCW Southside era. Without that, there's no like Progress come up. There's no Fight Club come up. Like Instrumental is almost like downplaying it.
Yeah.
Like without people like that, there's no scene now at all.
Yeah. And what really warms my heart now is I seem to speak to a lot of newer wrestlers. And as I said, I think they put
horrible, isn't it?
I think
reminds you of how old we are.
Yeah, I'm at school. I've got the newest of the newest. I think you have people that put those Rev Pro and Progresses still up there.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you talk about where people think the next tier afterwards is,
The
And a
upper
lot of
mid card of promotions.
people
like,
do say chaos.
yeah, as they should.
And that really warms my heart. That,
Yeah.
it's now seen in that.
Can we say you help? Okay.
I run. Me and
Is this public?
Yeah, it is. We're the owners. People know this.
Sweet. How'd that come about? You don't have to get into it.
We're in a massive group chat, and
it makes sense. I'll say that much.
Dave and Nick and all them lot had said that they had taken it as far as they can. I think they wanted to try to run the Beacon in Bristol.
What's it?
It was
is this post-COVID?
No, it was before COVID. They wanted to run the Beacon, or it was Colston Hall at the time. It was called. Changed to the Beacon now. They wanted to run that, and that would have seen that they probably were hoping to get about 2,000 to 3,000 people in. That was they would have been
that's the hydro.
Yeah, that was theirs. They were like, right, if you can get 2,000 people in.
This is Ali Pally, baby.
Like. Because again, they'd done Yates and they'd done Thornbury, and you've been there. And there's been 700 people in.
The Yates shows were always
wild.
insane.
So, to them, it was like that's where we want to go next, and they couldn't get in there. They tried for years, couldn't get in there, and they just thought, well, what are we pushing for now? Like, we're not making a full-time living off this. This is eating into my holidays, eating into me being able to go do football with the kids, and stuff like that. So eventually they just kind of said, I think we're done. And I think the other two, I think Dave put loads more work in the other boys. The boys did lots, don't get me wrong, but Dave was the workhorse behind that. And when Dave said he was done, I think the boys were like, we're done. So he put a group, I think in the group chat, and said, hey, just let everyone know, February 2019 will be the last shows we run. We're going to bow out, we're going to do a Yates show, and then we're going to go back to the small little first building we ever ran, and we're going to run this. And I think, no, that was in December, and then we're going to do one last one at King's Oak, he said, in February. And he put that in the group, and I'm talking 15 seconds after he posted it, I rang him and went, how much you want for the company?
Really?
And he went to me, calm down. He went, you don't want this. He went, it's too much stress, and you don't want it. I went, how much do you want for that company? And he was like, listen, give it a couple of weeks. If you still think about this, have a thought about it. I went and spoke to Jordan, and she went, I think this is too big involved in your wrestling. I think you probably need somebody. So rang Hitchman. All right, Hitchman, should we buy Chaos?
And I will keep ringing people until someone gives me the answer I want.
Well, he just said yes straight away. He was just like, I was like, you don't have to do anything. I was like, literally, it'll just be there for days set up. Because I'd seen him run Dragon Pro. And he'd done a great job with that. And I was like, I just thought that we were at this time as well. This is what I think not annoys me. I think sometimes it's seen as like, a lot of us just took our contracts with WWE and we left. But like, people got to remember, like, when Hitch was still at WWE, he was still training people at Dragon Pro.
Yeah.
He was still going to the Kates, and he was still setting up, and he was still running like training, and he was trying to help people. And he was doing private sessions after COVID as well. Like, he was constantly trying to. I was up in Stoke before the school existed. While I was still signing with WWE, training Act 2. Like, I was still doing these sessions. Wasn't telling people. And I feel like people just think that we just took our money and we fucking ran.
Yeah.
Or we just went. But also, if we didn't have a vested interest, and then when everything left, I was like, oh, they've come back to the scene now. I was like, we never fucking left.
I will say,
I bought a promotion.
You two will have been lumped in with a different.
Yeah, I know.
That wouldn't have been the rule for everyone. I think you two are exceptional examples.
I agree with that. But I would have liked people have
not just doing it for like extra money. You didn't need that. You just wanted to be still within the scene.
Yeah, we bought Chaos, and then our plan was like, we're going to run this 6 times, 7 times a year, and we're just going to use it to platform. Like, we still do. We use it to platform new talent, and that was the plan. That was always the plan. And again, I understand we got grouped in with a group of people, but I guess even I wish it was just a case of.
But I get where you're coming from, because that was not from the wrestlers who weren't signed, but from like certain fan groups and like stuff like that.
And some of the wrestlers
probably. I wasn't here at that point, but probably some of the wrestlers too.
Some of the people I feel like I was friends with and stuff like that as well. And I was a bit like, and I feel like
I've said some heinous things about WWE, but I've never said heinous things about the boys and the girls.
So again, I get it, but I feel like both of us kind of have always put our. I think it was more the case of when it all kind of ended, and then we were back, and then people were quote tweeting like, my school opening up and going, oh, back in the scene now. Is he like, I've been in the scene. I've never left the fucking scene.
That pissed me off.
Like, no, it did, because like, and again, I don't say I'm saying all my fucking flowers, but I don't want to be fucking slated for stuff that I didn't.
There's a big difference between like thinking you should.
I will hold my hands up. I will hold my hands up when I fuck up. Right?
Yeah.
I will hold my hands up. Like we have not talked about the podcast, but one of the biggest fucking things, I will hold my hands up to this day. And people say to me, "Do you have any regrets?" Do you have any regrets in wrestling, or do you have anything, if you had your time back, you would go back and not do?
Yeah.
And my answer is it's the same thing I will address, but it is two very different answers. The first one is any regrets. And the regret is having Bram on my podcast.
Yeah.
That is the biggest regret I ever had, right? I was a very naive person. I was a person who didn't really understand. I come from a family where, like, my earliest memory is watching my dad beat my mum up. Like, so then being lumped in as a domestic abuse sympathizer, whatever.
Not good for you.
It's not good, but again, I don't look at that.
No,
and
not
like,
good
how,
for your mental.
But I don't look at that and go to them, how dare you say that? I had to look back and go like, well, you fucked up here. Yeah. You literally took somebody on face value off of people said. You've given him a platform to spout his side of the story, lies or not. Again, by all accounts, everything I've heard afterwards, it sounds like it was lies. And I hold my hands up and I apologize for that. Took it down and monetized it, everything, and it's gone. Right? People then say, okay, you regret that. I do regret that. Would you change that? I wouldn't change that because I learned from that.
How experience. Can you?
I learned from
the lesson. That lesson is now invaluable.
Ingrained in me. Yeah, exactly. Right? So I'm somebody.
You've probably made so many better life decisions since then because of that. Like,
And again, I was like devastated that happened, and I had to deal with the consequences. Not once did I ever go, "Woe is me," and you guys being unfair on me and stuff like that. I fucked up. It's like I fucked up. So for me, if I fuck up, I'll be held accountable for that. And I apologize for that, and I move on. I learn from that, and we grow from that. But then I think it's like going to WWE and, again, what people say online and say how much people were on. All I'm going to say is this, like, I'm not going to get the numbers. But when I joined WWE, I had £1,000 savings. That was it. Yeah. And by the time I left WWE, I bought a house. And I think it's quite a very nice house.
It's a very nice house.
It's a very nice house. I bought a car.
You have a dog.
I bought a dog. I bought a car. Paid for our wedding outright. And then had enough money to then invest in the school and buy Chaos.
Yeah.
So
not too bad.
Yeah, and my wife works part-time.
And I will say that also comes down to not just being paid generously, as you all should be, as all of us should be paid more.
Yes.
That also goes down to you're a mature man.
I think I've always been pretty good.
You've probably saved and utilized your money differently to how many others will have.
Yeah. I think
so you should credit yourself that much as well.
Yeah, but again,
having Jordan by your side to probably reel you in a bit.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think I have to reel her in. I'm from one of the most poorest areas in Wales. I
can only imagine.
We didn't have money, so I keep hold of the money I get.
When did the school open? New Wave. So there's New Wave Midlands.
Yep.
There's 3 now.
4.
So it's Midlands, South Wales, Canada. Where's the 4th one?
There's 2 in Wales. There's Newport and there's Cardiff.
Fuck me, saturated much.
No, I know.
As if it's because everyone from Cardiff would not want to go Newport, and everyone from Newport would not want to go Cardiff. Yeah. How did that start with the Midlands one?
So I was again training when I was at Act 2. When I was at Duree, I was training Act 2. I'd met him at I'd met him at a camp or whatever, and I wanted to get some ring time. So I literally messaged. It was a school called the Barracks. I messaged them and said, "Remember these 2 lads? I'll come up and train them for free."
So that's why they're so good. I didn't know you trained them.
Yeah. So literally, they came in and they will say this. They could roll, but they couldn't roll right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They couldn't roll right. So I like to say that when it comes to them too. Did I have them from day 1? No. Did I have them from week 1? No. Did I have them week 2? Possibly. Yeah. So I'd like to say that maybe.
Act 2 were week 2.
Yeah. The Act 1 we don't talk about.
No,
the Act 2 we talk about. So
they're buried in your back garden.
My very big garden. It is big.
There's a lovely tree in there.
2 trees. So I was doing that and I was training with them, and then we obviously got released, and I was like, right, I'm going to do some more training. I'd come off a shoulder surgery. Feeling a bit beaten up from wrestling, and I've been doing it for so long, and it was just, again, you go through peaks and troughs with how we feel about it. And I was like, I'll do some training. So I reached out to the school that was there at the time, and I said to them, "Hey, can I come in and take some sessions?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "My understanding is I want to take these sessions, but I need it to be, you do this for them, this for them, this for them. I want it to be a good place and nurturing. So I do 2 sessions a week." And he agreed. And then over the course of that, I was only there for a year. Over the course of that year, he would just do less. He would do less. And I think he was hoping I would pick up the slack. And I wasn't really getting paid for that. I was just getting paid per session. And I was picking up the slack, probably doing more than I should have been. And,
just because you enjoy it.
Yeah, because I enjoyed it. And I love the guys. And I was like, wanting to get good opportunities. And then it would just be like, the students would start coming in and they'd be having gripes with him. And I'd be saying to him, you can't talk about this year. It's unprofessional. Like, I don't want to hear it. And then Act 2 would be like, you should just open up. And they kept saying, Flash Morgan Webster's School of Excellence. That's what they used to keep saying. Right?
I can hear Knudsen saying that as well.
Saying, like, and he was just pushing it. And then I think it was like, he was planning on doing a show, and some of the lads were ready to be on shows, and the tickets hadn't sold well because he had done no poster and no flyer in. So he just cancelled it. And I was like, but that's not on them, that's on you.
Yeah.
And then I just said, I can't stick around if this is going to continue to happen. And then he was talking to me, and then eventually I just turned and said, like, he's like, well, I'm thinking of selling. And I was like, okay. So we just kind of crunched the numbers, and I kind of worked out, like,
fuck me. Everyone should just start coming to you and try and sell anything, because it sounds like
well,
I'll take it.
I will say he I'm very thorough when it comes to stuff. So when I bought it, he did want a certain number, and I said, you need to prove this worth to me.
Good.
And
I know.
And I then got the business. I got a bit of my business manager to kind of help me kind of sort stuff out and look at stuff and then figure it out. And I even got it. So in the end, I ended up buying the school by rebranding. I bought a ring, 2 TVs, and some gym mats. That's all I bought really, and took over the lease. That's
the lease of, is it like it's like a warehouse?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
From what I've seen,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I took over that lease. This is where Dave Mercy is the absolute man. He said that I said, I'm going to be paying this much, and Dave said, if you're paying this much, you need a non-compete clause in his deal.
Ooh.
So that he can't open a school 6 months later. Dave Mercy, smart man.
A no-compete clause for that. That's so...
Because
I never would have thought of that.
You don't want him to open a school 6 months later down the road, because he's loaded. I don't think he would. But he was like, I was like, okay.
Don't give him the chance.
So literally 3 years he can't, and I don't think he will. I think he's very happy he's not involved in wrestling anymore.
I'm sure he wouldn't have signed it.
Yeah. And on that day, when we opened those doors for New Wave and I bought the school, I think there was 12 officially people that had come across from the school. Out of those 12 who are still active wrestlers, I think there's 4 of them now who have stayed and come across. But we on the books as active members on my team up, which we use, I think there's, and whether that's somebody who comes once a week or once a fortnight or maybe once a month, 65 people come through that door on average a month.
Wow, that's insane.
So and that's again,
did that snowball? Was that like quick or?
I think that New Wave came about because when I thought I'm going to buy this and I thought about the school, I think Brendan's told the story that literally when Hitchman was selling Dragon Pro, I rung Brendan and went, you need to buy it because you're the right man for the job. And then when I was looking to buy that school and I thought I bought it, Brendan rang me and Brendan went, this needs to be in the West Midlands.
Yeah. What does this mean to you now? Is this your main focus? Mentally, I'm not talking monetarily, just like, is this your like, I can only imagine, I've done like a few training sessions when I was younger, like training people. Like, I think I did 1 seminar maybe. Like, that's way more gratifying in a way. It's like, now, is that your number one like priority for your mental?
Yeah, I think so. It is
in terms of wrestling.
Yeah, I think so. I've got a good team. Like I've got Jack Knudsen. He does our foundation
like beginners,
stuff. Beginners, whatever. And again, he's great. He's so good. So he's still so underrated. I think he's going to be something people could be talking about 3 or 4 years time. Yeah. But even then, it's like I've got Mark Haskins as well that comes and does. So like tonight, me and Mark Haskins are taking the match review. So we just did a show on the weekend that had 180 people in. So we're going to review that. Like a in quote marks trainee show. Yeah, well, the trainees. Yes, yeah. We had a few people come in. Like we had Lycos come in and do a match with somebody. And stuff like that.
Yeah. That's a great way.
Dylan Roberts came in to do a match with
somebody. No way.
Yeah, Dylan in
Welsh icon.
Yeah, love Dylan. So, but again, it was. I want to say like 95% of it was just our students.
Amazing.
And
180 people.
Yeah, 180 people in, and it seems to. We got a show now in February, and I think that will probably sell out as well. 140 that is. So, and I just want wrestling to be more accessible than it ever was for me and the boys, and I want them to learn quicker than we did, because a lot of it, I say it all the time, like I was in Wales for those 6-7 months, and don't get me wrong, I had a good time with Bird, but I will say, and Pete says this all the time, that Pete believes that I wasn't really taught by Bird. He was like, he believes that I was a backyarder, and I did 6 months with Bird, and then I learned everything from just being on the road in the Midlands. And because that was literally it. I left 6 months after I started training and whatever, I had my first match. So for me now, it's just about making sure it's accessible and it's fun, it's exciting. And I'm probably going to put this out somewhere else at some point, but so what I love at the moment, I fucking love it, Drew, right? There is a massive dick measuring contest going on with all the schools in the UK, right?
Okay.
But in the sense of they're going, no, we are providing the best service.
Yeah.
We are providing the safest space. We have the best safeguarding. We have the best facility.
The times have changed, sister.
We are giving them the best platform to succeed.
Yeah.
We're offering this. We're betting the best
That's
seminars.
awesome.
And I fucking love it. I want us to compete so hard against each other.
Is it?
Because we're afraid, not afraid, but we're just like, no, we want to be shown that we are doing the best for the students. Good. I want that.
Is it subtle? Is it a subtle rivalry, or is it clear, like, in your face?
Friendly,
obviously.
I think it's friendly. I think it's friendly.
Like,
I think it's okay. So I would say there's a, and I don't want to start naming schools. But I think if the people who know what good schools are in the UK will know, not just the New Wave Collective, but there's other ones scattered around the UK. I think we all know who the good schools are.
Yeah.
And I think we all support and encourage the good schools because we know our lads are going to go there, and we know and I encourage all my lads to. This is the thing. I tell all my lads and girls and people to just go train everywhere.
Yeah.
I say go train everywhere. Ask my opinion on the place, and I'll give you my opinion on the place. But I will say this: if you go to train somewhere and that school is not good, I don't need to tell you it's not good. You'll go there and you'll figure that out for yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't figure it out for yourself, then maybe I haven't trained you as well as I did before, right? So you figure it out. Or you'll go to the school and maybe they'll have a better facility than I do, but maybe the coaching style won't be right for you. And you'll come back. Or maybe you'll go to that school and maybe that coaching style will be better for you. And you are my student, and I want you to succeed, go to that school.
If that's what's better for you.
That's
how it should be.
Yeah, and that's what I want.
And I think...
And I want them to be, like, I'll use this, Ricky Regan, right? Yeah. Ricky Regan's great. Ricky Regan trains and coaches Elevation. Ricky comes over to me every now and again, but when Elevation opened up, Ricky said it was easier for him, closer to get to him. Plus, if you've ever watched Ricky Regan wrestle, Ricky Regan wrestles a very all-star type style. Who is better at helping Ricky, and a main event style, who is better at teaching Ricky how to do that style? Me or Joseph Connors?
Yeah, exactly.
Joseph Connors.
Yeah.
And Joseph Connors is fucking great. But I believe that there's a lad who's coming over at the moment and coming to my schools who is younger, he trains with Joe, and he wants to do a lot more high-flying stuff. I reckon that Joe's just giving his blessing and go train McGav. And he's bouncing between the two schools, but I think it's knowing that. If you want to know how to do really good, fancy, cool, technical wrestling here in England, I'm going to send you to fucking Liam Slater.
Yes,
because Liam's incredible. So
that's how it should be, though.
Yeah, and also, these people will go to that school, and they might only go for 1 or 2 sessions. They'll come back and they'll go, Liam showed me this great thing. And I go, oh, please show me.
Yeah.
Because I can learn as well.
I feel like there's been a weird thing now where from our class was in the same generation. That would not have existed 15 years ago, 10 years ago, in the sense of, like, it would have stemmed from insecurity. It would have stemmed from, like me and Lycos were outwardly told, do not go train anywhere else. Like, you're our wrestlers, despite being teenagers with no contracts. Whereas, like, now, this is how it should be. You can't pretend that there's not a world out there when we all have smartphones and we're all, like, so connected. You can't pretend that there's not. It
still exists, though. There are places that still
I'm sure
there are.
I'm sure there are.
And I put a tweet out recently saying, my two biggest things is, if your school is not paying you for shows, wrong. Yeah. Like, we did a rumble on the weekend with all our students.
Yeah.
Am I saying that I'm going to pay them enough to afford them to buy a house? No. Is everybody who was in that rumble, whether it was their first time in the rumble or their 120th match, getting a wage? They're getting a wage.
Good.
So, because I believe that we want to give, this is a philosophy for all the New Wave shows and all the New Wave schools, we want to give you the best introduction to pro wrestling you could possibly have. Now, if you decide that there's an opportunity down the road and that person isn't paying, and you decide you want to go down there and work for that person for free, it's your business, it's your job. But my job as a coach,
this is how it should be done. That's how it should be done.
And sometimes opportunities and trying to, maybe you get your foot in the door, maybe you get some work off that and you get a bit of experience. But I will just lead how I want to lead.
Good.
Lead by example.
We're going to wrap it up now.
Yeah.
And I did this with Lycos, and I didn't plan it, but I'm going to continue doing it. What's next for Flash Morgan Webster? It sounds like a really boring question, but, like, I can answer it for myself. What's next for me is just slowly doing more. I want to wrestle 1 more match next year than I did this year. I want to debut instead of 5 promotions, I want to debut for 6. Do you know what I mean? So, like, that's my, like, steady goal. Do you have a steady goal? Are you, like, because from the outside looking in, like, we speak, but we're not, like, in daily contact with each other. You're so locked in on this school. Is this, like, number 1 priority for you, or is this, like?
I think so. It's so hard, isn't it? Because, like,
how can it not absorb at least 50% of your brain?
It absorbs more. It absorbs more than that. The Jordan always tells me all the time that I need to have days off and I don't have days off.
Yeah. I'm sure you care about some of their careers more than your own.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I think I care about their careers more than they care about their careers.
Yeah.
Probably. I think for me, it's a hard one. I think me and Mark Andrew talk about this. Ego is such a big thing in wrestling. We spoke about ego earlier on.
Yeah.
It's such a big thing. And it's knowing when you're done, or it's knowing where you're going next or what you're doing. And I think for me, it's like when I was done with WWE, I didn't think I was going to become TNA World Tag Team Champion. I didn't think I was going to have that run. I think I put a list out when I left of tag teams I wanted me and Mark to wrestle, and I think a few people like, well, they think they're going to be able to walk into this.
Yeah,
we've ticked a lot of those people off those lists.
Yeah, good.
I'd be lying to you if there's not people on that list like the young Bucks, FTR and stuff like that. But I would love to tick that off.
They're the best of the best.
The best of the best. And again, people say, "Well, you got to get signed by AEW." Let's look at AEW. You don't need to get signed by AEW to wrestle the Young Bucks.
Absolutely not.
You don't. August, they had shows over here, and Mark wrestled Big Bill on there. I was also invited down to that, and unfortunately, my mum got very ill, and she's well now, so it's all good.
Good.
But they know who we are. We've had conversation with them, stuff like that, and I guess when you say what's next for me is I want the school to continue to grow. I want Chaos to continue to grow. I want to continue to be an active member on the wrestling scene. I go to Canada on Thursday, so I'm wrestling out there.
You're a big Canada boy now.
Oh, we love Canada. We love Canada. So I go to Canada on Thursday. And I think maybe it's just looking to see what opportunities come next.
Yeah.
And then we just ride that wave and see what happens. And I just honestly don't want to try my hardest to try to give back to a profession that's given me so much, and to leave it better than I found it. I think that's my goal for it now, if I'm honest.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Flash, thank you for inviting me into your home, and thank you for talking to me for X amount of time. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Bye. Bye, mate.
Bye.
Thanks for
stopping
listening, everyone.
by.